Hello, Flosstube. Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches, here with my Flosstube update number 316. Today is January 13th, 2024, and it's hard to believe that the first month of this new year is basically half over now. So I have a few things to talk about. This stitching that I did, a little bit of some additional stitching from what I had last week, finish my not so secret stitching. It was a secret before, it's not a secret now, and a little bit of haul. Went to the attic a little unexpectedly, this afternoon, and there was something going on. I don't know. I guess I didn't keep up with whatever was going on. There was a bunch of people with name tags there, and it was pretty full. It was kind of fun to go there, and they had a bunch of new stuff, and yeah, so I picked up. I went there for just a few threads, and I ended up picking up a couple of patterns because that's the way I roll. Anyway, so I'm going to start with my WIPGO stitching, if I can find it, because I have everything out of order here. Okay, yeah. So one of my WIPGO calls, this is my number 9 call. The numbers were 9 and 22, and so one of my number 9 calls was Seahorse Soiree Biscornu by Heartstring Samplery. And I had gotten just a very minimal start. What I did, most of these charts that are on the WIPGO list this year were started during Mania last year. So yeah, that was what was when I started this one. And I've got everything out of all discombobulated here, so I don't have a handy place to put things. Okay. This is where I am so far. So I'm almost finished with the front of the Biscornu. None of these little fish and seahorses, none of them have eyes. I did put an eye in the whale, in these 2 whales, and little mouth on these mermaids, and I think one of these, yeah, this little sea turtle, and maybe this one, both have eyes. And I think, yeah, this fish has an eye. But the rest of them are blind. Yeah. And right in the middle are these jellyfish, and these blue ones need another color in there. It's this same color, but they need another color to be completed. And then these jellyfish are completed with backstitching, and so that hasn't happened yet. But I did do all 4 of them, so that's essentially the middle. And then there's just some other, more whales and more seahorses and etc. and sea turtles. So yeah, that's but I've hit the goal of 7 days. I actually did about 7.5 days. So if I have time later on, I'll maybe finish it or whatever. So we'll see how that goes, or at least finish the first half, the front half. The back half, of course, doesn't have nearly as much stitching. There's some crabs, which are fun on the back side, and some more stuff, more jellyfish. You can just see the you can't see the crabs here, but they're in the corners. They're down under here. So there's one. There's a crab right there. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know if I'll get to the back anytime soon. My secondary whip for number 9, secondary as I'm calling them, is the October Rabbit, and of course I changed some of the rabbits were supposed to be brick, but I changed it to white so that they would show up on this fabric. Sorry, on this fabric. And this is 32 count Murano Carré, and the color I think is rust, I think. And so, yeah, this is like I said last week, this is where I tried one of the rabbits in brick. I mean, it doesn't really show up. So I changed it to white. I think this goes this way. And so I had added, I think I had added this last week, but this yellow, all this yellow stuff, I added this week. I didn't really work on it more than like one day or part of one day or something, so I didn't do much. I had some more bunnies, like a brown one, and a white one and a brown one, and some more greenery. And then there's another color that goes on the tops of these and here. It's another, it's like a, I guess a red. These are all done in silks, so it's one thread over two. And I had never used silks until I did the first Rabbit, which was the January one I did for the first year that we had cross stitch camp. And I'll get to more of it soon. But I also did what I was calling it a secret stitch because it's for my sister-in-law Rachel for her birthday. Her birthday's coming up at the end of the month, and I was thinking, oh, I'll do that. This owl trio for her birthday. And I'm not confident that it's going to happen because it looks, I thought, yeah, it's a small dimensions kit. It's not very big, but it's a lot of stitching. There's each of those owls, it's a lot of stitching. And like in this owl, in his feathers here, there's like, it's this, basically this orange color, but there's also a lot of black, just sort of like, 4 stitches here, 3 stitches there, whatever. So, and then there's a lot of French knots in this particular owl. I don't think these other ones have as many. They just have different colors. But anyway, so yeah, so I probably will not finish it by the 29th, but so anyway, this is just the first owl. And this branch, part of the branch that he's sitting on, and there's another color that goes here. Yeah. And then like the orange color of his body. It looks like he's holding on to these something, but these are really the legs of the other owls. So, yeah. But anyway, the one thing I did get his eyes done and his beak. Yeah, so just a lot of stitching. But so like I said, I was planning on doing it for the 29th, but I am not confident that that's going to happen. But I did have a small finish, a little bit of a finish. This was in my Black Cat season bell pull that I'm doing. So this is the number 3 chart, and last time I worked on it, I had just like this orange line, and then I had to finish this tail, right? And so I did that. I worked on it today while we were filming our update, our 3 Sisters Creative Update. And let me make sure I have the front of it. So number 3 is called Blackest Cat, and it starts underneath this little, this is one of the free borders that she has on her website. So it starts here with these 3 cat heads. But this one here says, "May the blackest cat you've ever seen make you smile on Halloween." So last time, I think I had done these little yellow, I don't know, flower things, whatever you call them, little things, stars, whatever you want to call them. But I had not finished, the tail or this orange line underneath there. But I just finished that today, and I worked a little bit more on this border. I ran out of thread about halfway through this cat. So there's this cat and another line and another cat on this end, and that'll be done. So I started this. This is the 4th chart. I started it a couple weeks ago, in December. As a matter of fact, it was my little December start that was on my WIPGO board. So I did get a finish for number 3 of that, and that's it's very wrinkled because I've had it rolled up, but I added this border design here, and there's that little cat line that I'm doing right now, and there's another one here, so I'm repeating this cat line, and then I think I'm going to repeat this one here after the 4th. I don't know. I have 2 more border things to do to separate those designs. And then I'm hoping, I haven't really thought through too much what I'm going to do for the, to make it into a bell pull. I have, I've tried looking, I talked about this before, that I tried looking at a couple of, finishing videos, and they don't specifically talk about traditional, bell pull designs. They, if you look up bell pull online, you'll get a lot of videos about, like, traditional bell pulls, like, I don't know, like from, from churches and things like that. But anyway, yeah. So they have like wall hangings, is something that you're more likely to find. So I don't know how exactly I'm going to finish that. I don't have that. So anyway, this was the one I just finished, number 3, Blackest Cat. And then the one that I've just started in December, I put this 1B in there. But beware House Panther. So House Panther is the next chart that I'm going to be doing. So as soon as I finish that border pattern, I can work more on that number 4 Black Cat season. So then I'm zipping through this. I'm only 12 minutes in, and I'm almost out of stuff to talk about. So, so my other the other WIPGO pulls, they're in number 22 is the other number, and so I have the bear, which is from the A Walk in the Woods series by Cottage Garden Samplings. So I started the bear this past year, and it's number 6, so the June design, and I had just like the beginning of this bulrushes or something in the outer part. I haven't gotten to the bear itself yet, so that's coming up. That's what's on my agenda now that I've done my 7 weeks on the Seahorse Soiree, and maybe I'll work a little more on the rabbit thing. I don't know. But the other one for this month is Snowy Reindeer, and that one I had just the most minimal start on. I just like one snowflake in the middle of the design, so hopefully I can get to more of that this week, and I'll get to that in a second. But then also on my WIPGO list, I have my primary call. It hasn't been called yet or anything, but are these 2 charts from Tinymodernist. Mouse's Beach Outing and Mouse's Lucky Day. So they both feature this little mouse, and she in this one she's gone to the beach, and this one is a bunch of traditional St. Patrick's Day good luck things: 4-leaf clover, a leprechaun hat, pot of gold, a horseshoe. So that's Mouse's Lucky Day. And this is Mouse's Beach Outing. She's got a beach house, a crab. There's some sea creatures on anchor down here. So these 2 items, they're very small. I think they're 49 by 49, 59 by 59, both of these. So this was on my WIPGO chart has yet to be called. But also, when I was at the Jingle Ball, one of the patterns that I bought was this one, which is Mouse's Christmas decorating. And so there's the mouse again, and this time she's wearing a Mrs. Claus outfit, if you will, and she's got presents and a what do you call it, candy cane, and she's making a snowman and putting a scarf on him and all that stuff. So this little vine thing here has, I guess, holly berries and holly leaves and some ornaments on there. There's a cardinal. So anyway, this I had added as my secondary, as a new start, you know, for the same square that I have the other two mice on. But I was watching Flosstube the other day, and Colorado cross stitcher Sherry Berger, she's the one who does cross stitch camp. So she had done summer cross stitch camp a couple times, but she also then did in February winter cross stitch camp, and so she was talking about it on her update, and I had totally forgotten about winter cross stitch camp. But the challenge was stitch something that grows, right? And the challenge is you do a new start on the 1st of February, and you have until the end of the month to finish it, to, you know, finish the challenge. You don't have to finish it if you don't, you know, whatever interrupts you and you can't do it. Nobody, the cross stitch police are not going to come and get you if you don't finish. But anyway, so you know, the challenge is to finish it by the end of the month. And so this mouse is an animal, and I decided I want to start this. And again, it's only 59 by 59, so I'm hoping maybe I can finish it. But it calls for, well, you can do it in DMC. There's a DMC list there, but also there's a Week Styleworks version for most of it. So there are two colors here that I did not have, Pumpkin and Hunter, a Week Styleworks. I have the other Week Styleworks colors. But so, you know, I thought, well, should I order them? Should I get them? Whatever. And I was going to like use the DMC alternative, or get the DMC numbers and compare them to whatever other fancy flosses I had in my stash, you know, and maybe do it. But then we went to the attic today, so I just went ahead and got the two that I was missing from this list. And the snowy reindeer that I mentioned before called for Shutter Green, a Gentle Arts color called Shutter Green, which I knew I didn't have, and looked through all my stash and didn't have that one. So those three colors, Pumpkin, Hunter, and Shutter Green, I had been thinking about getting. I thought, well, maybe I should order them, whatever. But so we went to the attic today. So I got them. This is the Gentle Arts Shutter Green. And these two are Pumpkin and Hunter. That will go in that along with the other fancy floss colors. So I think I have the fabric chosen. Yeah. And so I will get started on that in a couple of weeks for winter cross stitch camp. I don't know what the challenges are going to be for this summer's cross stitch camp, but hopefully, you know, it'll align with whatever I'm doing for WIPGO. I don't know. But so while I was at the attic, not only did I get those threads, but I got this little needle minder from the attic. It's a little wooden needle minder, and it says the attic needlework where samplers rule. It's looks like a little scroll, like a little, I guess you could say it like a little sampler fabric, whatever. But it's a little needle minder, so I got that. And then I got two patterns that I wasn't planning on buying, but you know, what the heck. So this is by the Artsy Housewife, and she is the one who did Byron Blackbird that I bought. When did I buy it? It was a while ago. It wasn't Jingle Ball. It was sometime before that. I don't know if it was Market or how I came, but I knew a lot of people were working on it, and it caught my eye, and I really like it. I haven't done it yet, but But this was at the attic. This is called Oona Owl. Really, really pretty. I didn't look for the threads that are on here. This one, Oona Owl lists some classic colorworks, gentle arts, and weak Starworks colors. It also has DMC conversion, so obviously I don't know when I'm going to start it, but but I really like that one. Oona Owl. And this is like 122 by 103. So it's not too big. But we'll see. And there's a lot of empty space, it looks like, in that thing. But then this one, Spring Snow by, sorry about the glare, Spring Snow by Ink Circles. I have been looking at this pattern. They have it on display, a model on display at the attic. And a long time ago, about a year ago or so, I don't know, I had asked, if that pattern was handy, because they had like a little section of ink circle stuff there. And we didn't have it. And the woman that I talked to, she said, I think it's called, I think it's called blah, 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 whatever. But she wasn't real sure. And she said, well, we can order it. And I was like, I don't need it right away, whatever, So I didn't get it. And then, I don't know, at some point I was on the Ink Circles website, and I was looking at all their patterns, because I thought, oh, maybe they would have it. But then I couldn't remember, quite remember the picture or the name. But then today, they had the pattern there. And I double checked, okay, where's the model and here's the pattern? Or, double check them, and it's the same one. So this is called what? Spring Snow. It's real pretty. I just love those deer and the trees, and there's some bunnies. All the things I like. There's some squirrels here. Little squirrels. Yeah. So yeah, I went ahead and got that one. Pulled the trigger, so to speak. Oh, and I got this also. This is a slightly bigger bottle. I have a smaller bottle that's, I've had it for a while, so I don't know that it's running out, but it's, I saw these there and I got it. And this one is, I didn't really read the scent completely. I saw blackberry and something, and I didn't really pay attention, but it's vanilla. And I don't know. At one point, I went through a phase where I just some people had given me vanilla stuff, and I was like, oh, I don't really like the smell of that. And I went so far, actually, as somebody had given me a tube of some vanilla, something rather scent, and lotion, and I actually had to return it and get something else, because I just really couldn't stand the vanilla scent. And I hadn't really, looked at this one. But one of the issues, since I had my brain surgery, I don't know, 7 years ago, in 2016. But ever since then, my nose is what we call broken. My sister has referred to it as broken. And that is that I really can't smell things. I could, when shortly after my surgery, probably that Christmas, so a few months after my surgery, my nephew was buying cologne for his dad, and we were at the store, and he was saying, "How does this smell? Does it smell good?" And I couldn't smell anything. And so, as it is, things like that, scented things, lotion, soap, whatever, I can't really smell it. But oddly enough, sometimes a scent gets stuck in my nose, so that, I'll smell something, and then that's all I smell, as if it's constantly there, whether it is or it isn't. And so, yeah, so my nose is broken. So I'm hoping that, that it won't make that much a difference to me. I don't use it that often. It just like working on that rabbit with the silks. I've used it because, to keep my scratchy hands from pulling the thread out, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, this is another thing I bought at the attic. And speaking of buying things, one thing I wanted to talk about was I bought a new phone. Lovely little Samsung new phone. I had been contemplating a new phone service, a less expensive phone service, and my sisters kept telling me, "You need a new phone. You need a new phone," because I was having issues with my old phone. And then last week, it was before the weekend. It was before last weekend. I had an issue with my phone where I thought maybe I had just, accidentally pushed some wrong button, but I couldn't hear anything unless I hit the speaker button on my phone. I couldn't hear normal ringing. I could hear the phone ring, but not, if I answered it, I couldn't hear anything on the other side unless I hit the speaker button. Then I would hear the, like I had noticed it first with a Walmart, so they had the little automated, thing, like if you want to speak to such and such, press one, so whatever. And so there was obviously something weird with my phone. I asked my sister to call me. I texted her and asked her to call me, and I could hear the phone rang, and I could hear that. But then when I went to answer it, I couldn't hear anything, and I could hear her in the other room, talking in the other room, but not through the phone. I couldn't hear it. So, so that kind of finally pushed me to, pull the trigger and get the new phone. As it is, it just finished, like, I just got an email the other day about, it successfully ported, blah blah blah, and so I have to then, I guess, call my previous carrier and cancel that service, whatever. So but I'm because I am something of a Luddite. It's hard for me to sort of like to make sure, did I do everything right? And there's a couple of things I need to set up my voicemail and things like that. I'm just like, did I do everything right? I know, because this is not a place with a brick and mortar store that you go into and say, here, change my phone. It's, you have to do, you can talk to somebody and they'll walk you through it or whatever. But I'm just like, I'm afraid. But anyway, but I got a new phone. But now I have to do things like I have to buy a new case and things like that. So, yeah. So I'm still going down that journey. Hopefully, but I think the phone thing is open, like they're open not 24 hours a day, but excuse me, every day of the week. So I can go ahead and talk to them at any point about making sure that I have done everything right that I need to do. But anyway, so that's my my other big news from the week is getting a new phone. Otherwise, like I said, I have my two other WIPGO pieces that are coming up that I'm working on, that I'm going to work on for this month, and that is the bear and snowy reindeer. And I just haven't done anything on them so far because I spent today finishing the Blackest cat, and the other night, I did like 7.5 days. Sorry, about 7.5 days finishing. Finishing my goal, hitting my goal on Seahorse Soiree. And I am really close to finishing, but there's 2 whales on that Biscornu half that take a lot of stitching. And it's, because you're stitching the whale through the little wave things that are in the border, it makes it a little tricky because they're very close in color. The whale and the waves are very close in color. So it's hard to see somehow time to make, did I do as many or not too many or whatever. So it's difficult. So that's one reason why I sort of, hit the 7.5 days and stop. I'd like to do all the eyes of the fish and the, and everything. So they're not blind to do, but they're, just single stitches of this color and that color. And it's not impossible. It's not difficult, but it's, it's just, kind of tedious, I guess, to do all those single stitches. So anyway, but that, if I can, I'll do that. But I would like to do a lot of stitching on the bear because there's a lot of stitching before you get to the bear itself. And I'd like to make some headway on that. And my goal again is 7 days. So I should do it before the end of the month if all goes well. And now that I have this shutter green for the snowy reindeer, that's a pretty small piece as well. So hopefully I can get a lot of that done now that I have all the threads for it now. Because it had, like I said, just a very minimal start on it. But anyway, so I think that is basically all I have for this week. I felt like I did a lot of stitching, but I don't have much to show for it. Just like it used to happen with my lessons when I was in graduate school. You work all week long doing all this stuff, and then you get to your lesson, and it takes 20 minutes to run through it all, and then the teacher says, "Oh, what else do you got?" And that's kind of how I am with stitching. I'll stitch all week long doing all these things, and then it takes me, 10 minutes to show them all. But, okay, I've done this one, done this one, done this one. That's it. I know some people seem to they stitch a lot on several different pieces. It seems like whenever they do their update, maybe they don't do their updates every week. I don't know. So, yeah, maybe that's what the difference is. But, yeah. There's a lot of time and very little to show for it. But anyway, so I think that's it for now. So hopefully next week I'll have new stuff to show you, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.